Hi. So, in partnership with the Institute of Pension Management, Nation Media Group will be hosting the first edition of the Pension Conference and Expo at the KICC on the 28th and 29th of November. This is to tell you that it's a great opportunity for young people to come through, understand what pension is all about, and all that. The theme this year is enhancing social protection for inclusive growth. Hashtag Protect Future Yako. My name is Kevin Maina, a digital journalist at Nation Media Group. And today we are here to talk about pension as we go and roll out into this event. And in front of me, or beside me, to my right and left, my left and right, I have two gentlemen. On my left side, I have Kennedy Keli, who is a general manager in charge of pension business at Liaison Group. He's a pension administrator, having been in the pension space for 10 years. So this is the guy that we are going to be understanding. Why should I get a pension scheme? What is that even? So he'll be joining me today to talk about that. And to my right, I have John Ndua. Hi, John.
Hi.
John is an investment associate at Genghis Capital.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. This is all about public markets and asset management. He's currently working as, like I said, as an investment associate in the asset management function. So he's here with me today, and I couldn't be more happier to have you guys to talk about this. Gentlemen, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
How is the pension space?
The pension space is actually doing okay. I think it's a big market. People always talk about it being around 1.7 trillion.
1.7 trillion?
Yeah, in terms of asset base. But I think, again, as you look at it, the participation we still have, the young people are still not yet there.
Yes.
I think that's why we are here to talk about that.
And I think that's where I wanted to start from.
Okay.
What is pension, to begin with?
Okay.
What is a pension scheme? Describe it to me as a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pension basically talks about, there's an element of old age, but again, it's basically the money that you put aside to be able to take care of yourself later when you stop working. So you are now very productive. Maybe multiple streams of income, but then over time you may slow down at some point. So you need something to take care of you at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that generally naiweka hapa leo
Yeah.
to cater for me in the future.
Yeah. Basically, you need to protect your future.
Yeah. Protect future yako.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the reason why I have you two here is to understand how these marry each other. Okay. So from John, I want to understand, just like I asked him about pension, tell me about public markets. And so how do those two marry each other?
Okay, so public markets is also known as the capital markets. Okay. So basically, we invest people's money. So our aim is to grow your capital. Give us 100 shillings, so your aim to grow it to 200 shillings within a period of time. So what we do for the pension industry is that once people contribute to that scheme, as it has been described, we come in to invest the money because we don't want you to keep on investing your money or putting your money into a scheme, and at the end of the day, you just get what you put in. We want to grow it, we want to double it, we want to grow it to a level where it can sustain you in your retirement. So where I come in is to invest the money in various instruments in the market.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that case, you would take my money, the money that I'm giving you, so that you can put it into a public market fund.
Not really.
Public markets.
Yeah. So basically, we have the pension fund. The pension is a fund in itself. Okay. So you contribute to that fund. A fund is like a basket. Let's call it a basket.
Yes.
Ni kama kikapu. You put your money into that basket.
Okay.
And it has so many contributors. It has yourself, it has me, it has even 1,000 people.
Okay.
Now the money is already in that basket. Right. Now what do we do with that pool? You contributed 100, I contributed 1,000.
Yes.
We now have 1 billion.
Yes.
Now I take the 1 billion and invest it on your behalf. Now I invest it in bonds. I buy shares,
yes.
I put it in the bank, in deposits. Now that investment is what grows that 1 billion to, let's say, 1.5 billion.
I like that.
Yeah.
So essentially, there's no limit to how much I can invest with you guys.
No, there's no limit.
Okay. There's no limit to how much I can put into my pension fund.
No, there's no limit.
Similarly to pension, because I understand pension, you can only get that money at a certain age. And perhaps this is what young people are repulsive about.
Okay.
And I want to ask you that. Why do you think more young people are not so keen about the pension scheme? Okay. And in regards to when I can get that money, also address that. Yeah. And then I'll go back to John to find out, is it the same with investing from his point of view?
Yeah. Okay. I think also that's a good question because it talks about the value proposition to young people. And as I'm saying, Actually, you can get the aim of pension is actually to save until a later date.
Okay.
But then that later date for many people remains to be far apart. I mean, it's far ahead, you know. But actually, you can actually get, depending on some factors, you can actually get your money while you are still working. We have different pension arrangements. Like now, we have what you call personal pension plans. You can actually get a bit of that money while you're still working.
Okay.
But now, if you're working for an employer, you know, the employer is paying into the scheme as part of the employment benefits. Sometimes 50% of your money will be locked.
Yes.
Until you reach the retirement age. But you can still actually get most of your money now as and when you want it. But actually, our goal is because you're still productive. Sometimes we're just changing employment. Sometimes we want actually you to keep the money for it to sort you at a later date.
Does that mean when I'm applying for a pension scheme or when I'm getting into one, there's sort of like a clause where I can choose the age at which I want to get my money back? Or is it predetermined?
You can't choose the age. Actually, the early retirement age in the country is defined by law is actually 50 years.
Right.
So when you are 50 years, you can actually get your money. But even before you are 50, you can still get half of your money and retain like half of it until you get that age.
I figured the idea is to,
the
secure the future.
The idea is to secure the future.
So now, John, in a similar way, you're investing my money. Considering we're marrying the pension fund, is there a law that already predetermines when I can get this money? Or can I decide, if I give you today 100 and you're investing into 200, can I decide to pull it out as soon as I feel comfortable to do so? Or do I have to wait until...
I think maybe I should explain it in a different way.
Please do.
How he has explained it is exactly the truth, because we are the ones to manage that pension fund. Right. So we have different types of pension funds.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one prescribed by the law are the corporate ones and the national ones, like the NSSF.
Right.
So which you can only access it once you reach your retirement age.
Okay.
But now we have others where you can access your money because they are your own personal initiative to get a pension plan.
Yeah.
These are individual pension plans where you're just saving at your own discretion. Maybe I put my money this month, maybe next month I can't put it, I put it 6 months later. Okay. It's just your own prescribed or your own initiative to put your money in a pension fund.
Right.
So when you say a pension fund, we really mean it's just a normal fund, like any other investment, money market or any other investment. But this fund has a specific objective. It has a specific aim, and the aim is to provide you income at your retirement age. So if you choose to do it on your individual basis, you have access to the money because you took on your separate individual basis. However, if you take it under a corporate plan or under the government plan, this is the money that now has to be locked in up until your retirement age. And these ones are usually compulsory, the ones that are in the corporate space and the government. But the one that you're taking on your own discretion, you can remove your money.
Okay.
Yeah, the only underlying similarities between those two products is that they are all pension schemes with the specific goal to provide you income during retirement.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that means then that there are different types of plans.
Yeah, actually there are different types of plans. And like now what John is saying, like the purpose of pension is social security, and the biggest provider is the government. So the government has the NSSF, like the mandatory scheme. I think everybody who has a payslip in this country belongs there.
Yes.
So and NSSF actually, I believe you can only access your money purely after retirement. But now we have the second layer again. Also, employers have a responsibility to protect the employees even after they leave. So employers have set up pension funds so that people who leave employment either through retirement or resignation or whatever can have something later. So those employer schemes are whereby you can access part of the money and then leave part of the money because the employer also wants to protect your future later after you retire. As an employer doesn't want their former employees to be wallowing later in poverty. Yeah. But then now the world is going retail. Many people today are actually self-employed, small SMEs. Now that's why now we're having an ASA. Now the third layer being the personal pension plans, which are flexible. You can contribute as and when you want. You can vary your contributions by amount every month, every maybe even 6 months. And again, they are flexible insofar as you can also actually decide when to pull out your money. Because now they are like a savings vehicle. And as much as we are saying is for the future, sometimes the future is very different.
Unpredictable.
And also we have like young people like myself, now we have the fire movement or financial independence early. I mean, say somebody wants to, by 40, they clock out, and they go and do other things. So we have in our plans, catered for those kind of people.
Okay.
We can't fit everybody in a box. We are trying to have as a product offering which is a bit varied, for different groups.
Okay, so bear with me here
Yeah.
for my obliviousness.
No problem.
But for pension, for all these pension plan schemes, do they cater for something specific? And especially in regards to when I'm getting the money, do I get it as a whole, like I'm getting back the money? Because I look at my pay slip every month and there's money going somewhere.
Yeah.
Catering for pension.
Yeah, true.
Does that mean it only caters for specific things when I'm getting that money? Or it's just money for me to have when I get it? Do you get that question?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question because, again, as you said, you give in money, then it is invested. So
Yes.
first of all, you should get the money and the income that is earned over time.
Yes.
So whatever you're putting in should amount to a good nest egg later.
Okay.
But actually, now when it comes to access, I think that's the most important question.
Yes.
Because there are two modes of payment. There's what you call, actually, the objective of the pension is to, just simplifying it, should be converted to like a monthly income because you're earning a salary. In the end, you'll have a pot, let's say, like you've accumulated a certain pot for illustration's sake, let's say your pot is like 1 million. It should be converted to a monthly amount that you'll be getting every month. You get, but again, now we also have the school of thought people who are saying, like John is in the investment space, he can manage his money. So there are people who want to get a lump sum. We call a pension fund, pays you every month.
Yes.
Like converts like a salary. It's called an annuity, a regular income.
Right.
You get every month for life and some other modalities. But then there's also the element of the provident fund. Now that's what pays you get your money in lump sum. I'm assuming you have a good financial skills to manage your money.
Yeah.
So there's the option actually to get all your money at a go. The option of to get a monthly pension, or even an option to marry both. You can say, give me a portion in lump sum and another portion in pension. Like now, many government schemes and many pension schemes, you'll actually have a third in cash lump sum.
Okay.
And then the remaining 2 that's converted to monthly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so even to add on to that, even the money you receive, because maybe in my understanding of the question, is that maybe that money is set for a specific objective, like maybe they're paying directly to your landlord.
Yes.
No, not really. You receive that money into your account.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want to do with that money.
All right.
However, it's for your own good that you use your money in the best
Of
way
course,
possible.
wisely.
Yeah, wisely. Because that's your retirement fund.
Yeah.
But there's no like specific thing like this was for education, so we're going to pay for the school. No. It will be banked into your own account.
Then in this case, guys, what's the biggest misconception? That because it sounds like it's obvious you should have a pension plan. You spoke something about personal pension plans, right? For SMEs, business owners. What do you think is the biggest misconception when it comes to pension? Because people you'd ask, are you saving for the future? People are like, "Mi nafikiria sahi," because that's what matters. What do you think? We'll start with Ken.
I think actually when you get misconception, people actually think it's very complicated. They don't know where to start. Yeah, I think as providers, I think we are very far from the people, I would say. So it's basically telling people it's actually very simple. You just need to pick a provider like ourselves, and then you get started. Then the other misconception was actually it's very, people think it's complicated to have it started. Also, people think when you put in your money, they think there'll be a lot of conversations when you want to get it back. Actually, by law, whenever you claim your money, by law, you should be paid within 1 month.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you put in your application today, I'm Kevin, I'm leaving this organization, I want my money. Usually, you should be paid within 30 days without stories, and as they say, that money cannot even be paid to another party, Even if you have qualms with the employer, things like those. Actually, the money is yours. So people just think it's complicated, but it's actually very simple. Yeah, I think there's an issue with access.
Okay.
Yeah. In addition to the issue of access, I think also it's public education in the sense that people also don't understand what is pension to start with. Number two, there's also the aspect of you're being deducted by the government, so why should you take your own? They don't see the need of you getting it. So people, or mostly young people, tend to have a very short-term view of life, of events, of anything, even investments they make. They don't maybe see the importance of having an investment for 60 years. That is usually an issue. And if you look at, from my experience, from the pension funds that we actually manage, you'll find that the individual ones don't have even young people. They have old people. Yeah, because I think that's when the realization kicks in. Maybe I've spent 20 years in my employment. now I need to actually start saving because I'm going to retire in a few years. Yeah. When you're young, you feel like you have all the time in the world, but you really don't. So it's a matter of perspective and education.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ken, you mentioned something about interest in pension, which is something that personally I was not aware of. So explain to me the concept of compound interest. Like break it down for me in the sense that if I start now, how is that interest compounding over a period of time, and how is it beneficial to my pension savings as a young person?
Okay. Yeah, I think because the money is being invested, like if you invest for a short period of time, you may realize actually your interest is a bit, compound interest is basically a function of time.
Okay.
But if you invest maybe over a working life, like even like 30 years, you may realize even your interest income is more than 3 or 4 times your investment. Maybe your contribution over time, they are like maybe like for illustration's sake, like 1 million, but all your kit is like 4 million, So compound interest is a factor of time. It's more of a consistency, keeping the money in the fund for a long period of time, as opposed to withdrawing it over and over again. But as I said, John is the investment guy. He has got a comment on that.
Yeah. So compound interest, to keep it simple, it's when, let's say, for example, you have 100 shillings and you earn 10%. That is 10 shillings. Okay? Right? Yeah. However, if you keep that money, that 10 shillings within the fund, in the next year, you now have a base of 110. So that 10 shillings is now going to earn interest. Unlike someone who will withdraw that 10 shillings and remain the base to be 100.
Yeah.
So compounding means the interest you earned will start earning interest the next period.
Yes.
And the next period, the cumulative interest will also earn interest. Yeah. So that's the difference between simple interest and compounding interest.
Okay.
Interest is also earning interest.
So I like that.
Yeah.
But the main overlying factor here is the longer the time you're putting your investment.
The longer the time,
Right.
and no withdrawal.
No withdrawal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you withdraw that interest and you keep your 100 shillings forever,
Yes.
there's no compounding.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So what, in your area, what success stories do you think, being in the industry for that long, what success stories have you had that really, if you're to tell a young person right now and you're trying to convince them, regardless of how hard the economy is, what are some of the success stories you've seen or had in regards to especially investing in public markets?
Yeah. So for in public markets, we usually say investment is usually a long-term affair. We don't encourage people to invest in the short term because you will not have any impact. Absolutely zero. Yeah, you cannot beat the market by these short-term things. You need to keep it on the long term. In terms of success stories, I can tell you of investors who have actually put their money for a period of about 5 years. I've been in the industry for about 8 years, so I don't have such a long period in the industry, so I can only speak to that short-term period. However, this investor began with little of about 100,000, but kept on investing and kept on investing. Within the 5-year period, that investor had already over 1 million shillings as an investment, and also diversified. They also got to invest in very many products because they started off with money market, which is a basic product. It's the easiest to learn and it's the less risky, but now they have pension plans, they have invested in equities, that is shares, and they also have exposure in government bonds. So the reason why I say that's a success story is the fact that this investor started with little or minimum knowledge and also risk appetite. But once they started investing, they gained some knowledge and also their risk appetite increased. And with their risk appetite increasing, they tend to make calculated moves and make well-informed decisions. And you see such people getting exposure in investment that you will not typically see them doing, then you start to know that it's a factor of time, regardless of the money, also individually in terms of your knowledge and in terms of your growth as a person. You grow in time and you grow both knowledge-wise and money-wise.
Okay. Fantastic. Gentlemen, my final question now as we close this conversation towards the end of it. I am a personal pension, what do you call it? Personal pension plan. I'm interested in that because I have my own business. I'm a young person. I'm not in the corporate. Because naturally, even I got into pension simply because I was in a corporate industry. I was automated into the system. But I'm a guy who is not, right? walk me through. Now I come to Liaison Group.
Yeah.
What are the steps of, first of all, even me finding out, trying to communicate? What steps will you take me through?
Actually, you don't even have to come because
Okay.
now we are using technology. We have like a USSD code. You dial a certain number.
Yeah.
I think I won't say it. I don't know how it is allowed. Basically, there's a USSD code. There are very many ways. Actually, there are people walking form. There are people who make a phone call and we send the email to them. But even the most simplest way now, we have technology.
Right.
You dial a USSD code.
Yeah.
Of course, you provide your details, KYC, you know, the ID is the PIN. You get started. You contribute wherever you are on M-Pesa, bank.
Right.
And then you basically use the same channel to be viewing your statements. Whenever you want to make a withdrawal, it's basically dialing a USSD code. There's the option to withdraw. It's basically now self-service.
Yeah.
Because as I said, one of the biggest challenges is access. We are trying to bring it out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Then actually every year you'll be getting like we'll be telling you this is how your investment performed, this is the return that you got, this is what you expect to get in the next year. Yeah. Basically we'll keep you informed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, how does it now connect to the public? So now I've started my pension fund.
Yeah.
Right. How do I connect now to the investment?
Okay, so not complicated. Pension funds usually have representatives of the contributors.
Right.
They are called trustees. So it's up to the trustees to appoint a fund manager to manage the funds.
Right.
So now the Liaison pension plan has contracted Genghis Capital to be the fund manager.
Okay.
So our mandate or our work is to take that money and invest in the various opportunities we have in the public markets
Yes.
for the good of the fund. Our aim is to grow that fund from the contributions we get. We don't want it to remain the same. We want it to protect that capital, this protection.
Yes.
So we have to make safe investments.
Okay.
And number two, we have to grow it. Okay.
All right.
So at the end of the year, mandate to, let's say we want to grow this fund by 10%. We give ourselves a target.
Yes.
So we go and invest and come and report back that we have made this amount of money.
Yeah.
Also, another mandate we have, pension funds, even if it's for the long term, every year there are people who transition to retirement. You get the people who now turn that 50. Now they want their money back.
Yeah.
We also have to be cognizant and to be aware that next year we are going to have people who are going to withdraw and they're going to need their money.
Yes.
So part of the money also need to invest in something that we can get cash very fast. You get?
Yeah.
So our work is not only to grow the capital, but to understand the whole scheme of things in this pension.
Okay.
How many people are going to retire next year? How many people are joining the fund?
Yes.
So we have to put that money into a long-term investment.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a whole spectrum, but the underlying mandate is to grow your money.
I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. As a young person, I think I am bought. At least now I know what I got myself into when I was automated into the system. Remember that Nation Media Group will be hosting the first edition of the Pensions Conference and Expo at the KICC on the 28th and 29th of November. This is just a teaser of some of the conversations that will be going down there. If you want to learn about it, if you are a business owner, if you're in the corporate industry, if you're a young person and you want to understand the whole pension shenanigans, come here. Remember, the hashtag is protect future yako. Awesome.